Where do I start? When I first got here, I had a great attitude. I still have a great attitude. I'm easy to get along with, like the nicest person you'll ever meet. I like everybody, until they give me a reason not to. I thought it was going to be like one big happy family. It turned out not to be that way. My first year, someone said to me,
Nobody don't like you.
"Don't like me."
We're only here to do affirmative action.
They tried to nitpick on my driving. One time, I was backing up and I came nowhere near this truck. I know because I've been driving for like 36 years. I know what I'm doing. I never hit anything. But the guy went and told everybody.
She nearly took the cab out of my truck.
That's not true.
She is so close to me.
That's not true.
She cannot drive.
That is not true. See what I mean? They would try to turn folks against me so they think I'm not qualified because I'm black and I'm a woman. When I first tested for this job, the tester was in the truck with me. We drove to the station and there were a few black guys there in the lunchroom. The guys knew I could drive because they'd been on other jobs with me. They knew I could pass the test.
How'd it go? How'd it go?
There were two of us testing that day, me and another woman, a blonde. After the test, the guy doing the testing said, "Gentlemen prefer blondes." The guys were outraged that I didn't get the job. They advocated for me.
The next time there's an opening for a job, can we test her and at least make it fair?
2 years later, I came and tested again. And the guy testing me is like, "She can drive. She's a good driver." So they hired me. But that was 2 years later. One time, years ago, we had to drive with detachable trailers. We're going up this hill and the mud was about 10 inches deep. If you stop on that hill going up, you can get stuck in the mud. Then they have to come pull you out and you shut the whole process down. Everybody got to wait while you get pulled out. So I think I'm going around the hill. That way, if a truck comes from up or down, I won't get stuck. I don't want everyone to say she can't drive, like they already do. So, I think I'm going around the hill. The way, if a truck comes from up or down, I won't get stuck. I don't want everyone to say she can't drive like they already do. And it worked out fine. Going around. There were 2 other women drivers already parked. One of them had stopped me on the way up to tell me not to go that way. But I told her I felt safer going around, so I did. Once parked, I jumped out the truck and was like, "Okay, ladies, what we're gonna do next?" Because I was still kind of new and they wouldn't speak to me. I asked one of them, a white woman, "What's wrong?" And she shook her head and wouldn't speak to me. It turns out the problem was that I didn't do what she told me to do. She's not a foreman, she's not a supervisor, but she's a truck driver who had been there a year longer than me because I didn't do what she thought I should do. She was set against me. After that, she kept on picking on me. One day, she kind of waved to me, and told me to come here, and I thought, okay, she's not mad at me anymore. So I walked over and she said,
I don't think it's fair that you don't pull your weight around here.
you know what? When my supervisor comes out to tell me I'm not doing my job, I'll worry. Until then, who the heck are you? I may have used some other words, but that's what I said. I'm the only black woman. Some people think that black people are second-class citizens. First of all, they don't think we belong there. That's what I think she felt. She thinks that the county gave me the job on a silver platter just because I'm black. But I had to test just like everybody else to get the job. I had to do the same thing they had to do. But that's the way some people look at black people. Like we're lazy and we don't want to work. It's hard to come to work when you feel like some people don't like you because of your skin color. They don't even really know you. They just go by the rumors. One guy went around telling everybody,
King County sent her to truck driving school.
I've never been to truck driving school. Never. I learned how to drive a truck on my own. I couldn't afford to go to truck driving school.
King County sent her to truck driving school, and she flunked.
How ridiculous does that sound? But people believed that and treated me accordingly. They said that King County sent me to truck driving school and I failed. And then they had to send me back because that's how bad they needed to hire minorities. There were like 20 people who didn't speak to me for years because of this. I was told by a guy when he first got hired that another guy told him, we don't talk to her, referring to me. It does kind of upset me to bring back those memories. But people need to know that racism is alive and well at King County and everywhere else. The same white woman who wouldn't talk to me for years after I didn't take her advice about the mud accused me of trying to run her over with my truck. They sent me home while they investigated. Do you know how that felt to be sent home? 2 white people were saying I did something I didn't do. And I'm at home sweating bullets, wondering if I'm going to have a job. What happened was we were side by side, 20 or 30 feet apart. I got out of my truck and she wasn't in her truck. I always look and nobody was there. So I started to pull forward. I had to swing over to the left to the scale house. I felt something on my left side. It was her in her truck. It's like she felt like she had to go on the scale before me or something. I looked at her like, what the hell are you doing? And she looked at me and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But I proceed onto the scale and then her husband comes up on my right side while I'm waiting for the light to turn green so I can go. He pulls up and he's mean mugging me, looking at me like he wants to kill me. And I'm like, oh boy, she done called her husband. Let me get out of here. So I pull up. Then he starts pulling up. I pull up a little faster, and he starts pulling up a little faster. There's 2 gates in front of us, and I go through the one closest to me like I'm supposed to. He goes out the other gate and tries to run me into a ditch. There's cameras there, but mysteriously, the cameras weren't working that day. Serious? They should make a movie out of this. So they both go to the supervisor on duty. Meanwhile, I called my dispatcher to tell what happened. The next day, they put me on administrative leave. The investigation took 3 months. I was charged with reckless driving for getting run into a ditch because I was running away from trouble. He looked like he wanted to kill me. They gave me 3 days with no pay. I'm not going to let them get me. But my brothers were run off the job. They lost their careers because of stuff like this. They were fearing for their lives. I guess I'm too stubborn. I'm not going to let them run me off this job.